Oscar, big night of boxing coming up for Golden Boy Promotions, November the 8th in Fort Worth, Texas. Your man Virgil Ortiz Jr. back in action against Erickson Lubin. Just how big of a night is this for Virgil Ortiz?
Well, it might be his most important night in his young illustrious career. Virgil has been fighting really tough opposition lately. If you think about it, the guys he's fought in his previous fights have been very difficult, tough fights that nobody wanted to take on at the time. And now, once again, he's proving that he'll fight anybody. Um, I believe that Lubin is probably one of the most dangerous fighters out there without a title at 154. So it's not going to be an easy challenge. I think Lubin, yeah, he has a very tricky style that almost emulates a style that Virgil has difficulties with. So this is a great test. This is a test for both guys because I don't want to say Lubin is going to get beat or Virgil's going to walk right through him. I think Lubin is in the fight. I think Lubin is out here to win, and it's going to be a tough fight for both guys.
Absolutely. There's a lot of questions about what comes next for Virgil. Obviously, he's got that interim title. Sebastian Fundora holds the full world title. There'll be talks about potentially that fight happening whenever that gets ordered or what happens in that situation. But another fight that's being floated around for Virgil at the moment is a fight with Jaron Ennis. I'm sure you will have seen Eddie Hearn's comments recently suggesting that he'd like that fight to come in the first quarter of 2026. Where do you feel Virgil goes with a win from your perspective?
Well, there's many options, and obviously including Boots Ennis.
Mm.
I believe Boots Ennis is probably the most gifted, talented fighter out there for Virgil to fight against. You have Fundora, you have all the gatekeepers there, um, like uh, like Keith Thurman or somebody else like Charlo, one of the brothers. So there's many options out there, but Boots Ennis, I know Verge Ortiz, I know his competitive side. I know he wants to fight the very best. He wants to be known as a legendary fighter and not this fighter who thinks about the money first. No, he thinks about the competition first, and that's obviously music to my ears because we can make the big fights happen. So, look, the fact that Boots Ennis had a good victory against an okay opponent is actually music to our ears
Mm.
because Boots Ennis is coming off um, um, he's coming off his. I mean, he's probably still on his high horse, feeling that he beat this monster in his last opponent. So it makes for a great fight down the road. I think should it be the next one? Why not?
Mm.
But we first have to be aware that Lubin is coming in with everything, and there's no looking past Lubin. I believe Lubin is a fighter who can derail many careers, but I know for a fact that Virgil Ortiz will be ready and he will be willing to put his life on the line like always. And so a fight with Booth and Virgil down the road, absolutely.
Mm. And it was supposed to be Floyd Schofield Jr. in the co-support slot. Obviously, we've heard he's since got the wrist sprain. He's out of that fight
Yeah.
with Jojo Diaz. What's the latest on him, and who will be bumped up to that co-main event slot?
Yeah, we're currently looking for the proper match for Jojo. I believe Jojo. Look, he had a tremendous fight against a tremendous outing against against the very well known world champion in his last fight and Regis Progress, which was a very entertaining, almost like fight of the year type of
Mm.
fight. Which was exciting for Jojo's career. It kind of revitalized his career a bit. So I want to keep him on the card. He makes for exciting fights. We're still currently looking for that proper opponent, but it'll be announced shortly in the next day or two. But I do feel that Jojo does belong in the TV portion of it because he is an exciting fighter.
Absolutely. And before we move on from this card, I want to touch upon Joshua Edwards, who, you know, I think he's becoming a little bit more well known over here across the pond now. We're seeing a lot of these big knockouts. We saw him, of course, at the Olympics. He was unlucky not to progress further. He's a really talented fighter. From your
Yeah.
perspective, is this the man to end the long wait for a heavyweight champion in America since Deontay Deontay Wilder?
Yeah, that's look. I promoted Deontay Wilder and got him to his world title. I believe he was like 40-0, something like that. I hope I don't have to take that long with with Joshua Edwards, but look, I strongly feel that the European heavyweight division, the international heavyweight division, aside from the US, is thriving. It's Eddie Hearn and have been doing a tremendous job with building heavyweight boxing in Europe. So I believe that I have the golden nugget. I have the golden nugget here in the U.S. And Anthony Joshua, who can literally make some noise and create some big heavyweight fights here in the U.S. against the great fighters in Europe. So I think it's exciting times for the heavyweight division, but I really do think that it's time for the U.S. to step up and challenge UK heavyweights or European heavyweights, and bring at least one title back. You guys have all 4 or 5 titles. Maybe one. Just bring us one. That's all we need. But I think Anthony Joshua is. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Joshua
Um,
Edwards,
Joshua Edwards is the guy
of course.
to bring back the heavyweight title to the U.S.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, listen, we'll move on to the next portion of the interview. It's inevitable that Ryan Garcia's name comes up at this point. Of course, there's been a few words exchanged recently. How have we got to this point, and how do we resolve it?
Um, well, look, it all started. It all started with disrespect, and I think disrespect has been floating around the boxing world, the boxing community for too long now. You have these young fighters who haven't won anything, who haven't done anything in the sport, who may be popular, who may be, who have followers and a following in the non-boxing space. And enough is enough. I mean, how me as a promoter, all I want to do is get you to a world title. All I want to do is progress your career, make your career the biggest, the best. Have the most world titles possible, make the most money possible. That's my job as a promoter. But when there's disrespect back, and there's no acknowledgement of any kind of respect towards me, it makes my job that much harder. I feel like these young kids today, they must realize they must realize what it takes to get to the top. They must realize that there's no shortcuts in boxing. To get to a world title, you must fight the very best. You must fight the top guys, and that's exactly what I want to do for their careers. Including Ryan Garcia. But the disrespect he's shown to the sport, to the fans, to himself is not of an elite athlete. It's not of a top athlete who really wants to become a legend in the sport. So you sometimes have to let these kids know and tell them the truth, because all I speak is the facts. That is it. I'm gonna speak the facts, and whether you like it or not, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if it hurts your feelings. I'm sorry if it rubs you the wrong way, but the facts are the facts. And as long as you stay in your lane, as long as you do your job in the gym, because that's where your office is for a fighter. In the gym, in the ring, take care of business, win world titles, and you can talk all the shit you want afterwards. But not now.
Mm,
Not now.
absolutely. Well, he's got obviously one, correct me if I'm wrong, one fight left with Golden Boy.
No,
So
several.
oh,
Several.
he's got several. Okay, that's news to me.
Yes.
I thought it was
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, it was
Um,
several.
what comes next for him now? Is it the Rolly Romero rematch, or do you look to go a different route?
Yeah, no, there's talks of fighting for a world title next. I don't want to really mention names right now because you know how that goes. Then the negotiations fall apart and this and that. But yeah, no, he'll definitely fight against a top world champion, a top guy in this next fight. Which I give him all the credit in the world because look, you've only been out of the sport for he fought in May, lost against Rollies, and you should be back in the gym. You should be back training. You should be back focused on your next fight for the first quarter of next year. So we'll have some announcements very soon. I think I think people will be very surprised on who he's going to pick or
Mm,
who we're going to pick as a team. And I think that I think he will be motivated, excited, and ready to go for his next fight.
mm. Talking about negotiations and talks, I don't know if you've seen this news. Mayweather and Pacquiao are in talks to have a rematch. I mean, I'm
Wow.
baffled. Serious talks
Yeah.
with Netflix right now. What's your reaction to, two of your former opponents getting back in there in their
Yeah.
mid 40s?
Well, maybe I can be the referee, right? Let me get some action. Yeah, look, uh, the first fight was what many years ago, right?
Yeah.
And it was an okay fight. Now they're gonna do it again. Apparently, it's all entertainment. That's the way I see it. It's all entertainment. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be an exhibition or a fight, a real fight with real rules, small boxing gloves.
Mm.
You know, I don't know what they're gonna choose, but if they make it a real fight with the real rules, then yeah, it's an okay night for boxing.
Who would you
Um,
back? Who do you think would win it? If it's a real fight, because that's what Pacquiao wants, it seems.
yeah, I think Mayweather will Mayweather. I think Mayweather will take it. Yeah, he's see one thing about Mayweather you have to understand is he's always taking care of himself, like his body, physically, mentally. He's always been very sharp and always staying in the gym and doing something physically, right?
Mm.
That's the big advantage he has. I mean, he's an athlete. He's a world class athlete. And watching Pacquiao's last fight, yeah, you kind of feel bad. You kind of feel bad for him, and even though he did win and he did, I guess, pull off a surprise
Mm.
in his last fight with a draw against the world champion. But still, you tend to kind of like feel bad because it's not the same Pacquiao. It's definitely not the same Pacquiao I faced.
Mm.
That's for sure. The one that put me on my stool in the ninth round, and um, so. But I still think, yeah, I still think that Mayweather will pull this one off. I mean, if it does happen.
Just one final one from me. I asked this question to Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn and got some quite interesting answers from it. I've asked you a lot of retrospective questions about your career. I want to touch upon you as a promoter. From your perspective, who is the biggest underachiever you have ever promoted?
Wow, the biggest underachiever. Probably, probably Wilder. Yeah, I think Wilder because we when I took on Deontay Wilder, we needed 40 fights, 45 plus fights to feel comfortable and putting him in with a world champion. Um, but he has so much talent. It's just raw talent. I mean, Deontay Wilder started boxing at a later age, and the learning process for him took a little longer than expected, but the talent that he possesses is incredible. I mean, the punching power he has for only being 215 pounds, 220 pounds. You know, his legs are like my arms, but he can punch like a mule. It's
Yeah.
incredible. So yeah, I think Deontay Wilder would be up there. Terrific, terrific athlete,
Mm.
terrific human being, and terrific champion. Yeah, I just wish he would have fought more, and that's the one thing that I tell fighters today is like, when you're a world champion and you only want to fight once a year, your career is gonna shorten, by the minute. So, you must take advantage of the situation and fight 3, 4 times a year.
Mm.
Why not? So yeah, but I think Deontay Wilder is one of those fighters.
Absolutely. Well, Oscar, really appreciate your time as always and speak to you soon.
All right, you got it. Thank you.
Thank you.